the Dalton Theater Senior Projects of 2014. Thank you all for being here tonight. We have two exciting shows for you. The first is Chitra, which is directed by myself, which you're about to see, and after intermission you will see the Diary of Adam and Eve, which Adam will tell you more about later. So without much further ado, please turn off your cell phones, and I think that's about it, so enjoy the show. Thanks.
According to the Mahabharata, many years ago, there was an ancient king named Prabhanjana who had long been childless and yearned for an heir. After performing severe penances, Prabhanjana was blessed by the gods with an unbroken line of single heirs, all of which were invariably male. Chitravana, a descendant of Prabhanjana and the king of Manipur, was the first to have a daughter, Princess Chitrangada. Trained as a warrior, she was regarded as the sole protector of Manipur. In the course of his wanderings, in fulfillment of a vow of penance, the great Pandav warrior Arjun came to Manipur. There he saw Chitrangada, and smitten with her charms, he asked the king for the hand of his daughter in marriage.
Art thou the goddess with the 5 darts, the lady of love?
I am she who was first born in the heart of the Creator. I bind in bonds of pain and bliss the lives of men and women.
I know what that pain is, and those bonds. And who art thou, my lady?
I am her friend, Vasanta, the lady of the seasons. Death and decrepitude would wear the world to the bone, but that I follow them and constantly attack them. I am eternal youth.
I bow to thee, Lady Vasanta.
Who art thou, and what is thy prayer?
I am Chitra, the daughter of the kingly house of Manipur. With godlike grace, Lord Shiva promised to my royal grandsire an unbroken line of male descent. Nevertheless, the divine word proved powerless to change the spark of life in my mother's womb. So invincible was my nature, woman though I be.
That is why thy father brings thee up as his son. He has taught thee the use of the bow and all the duties of a king.
I know no feminine wiles for winning hearts. My hands are strong to bend the bow, but I have never learned Cupid's archery, the play of eyes.
That requires no schooling, fair one. The eye does its work untaught, and he knows how well who is struck in the heart.
One day, in search of game, I roved alone to the forest on the bank of the Puna River, when of a sudden I came upon a man, lying in a bed of dried leaves across my path. I asked him haughtily to move aside, but he heeded not. Then, with the sharp end of my bow, I pricked him in contempt. Instantly, he leapt up with straight, tall limbs like a sudden tongue of fire from a heap of ashes. An amused smile flickered round the corners of his mouth, or perhaps at the sight of my boyish countenance. Then, for the first time in my life, I felt myself a woman, and knew that a man was before me.
At the auspicious hour, I teach the man and the woman this supreme lesson, to know themselves. What happened after that?
With fear and wonder, I asked him, "Who are you?" "I am Arjun," he said, "of the great Kudu clan." I stood petrified like a statue and forgot to do him obeisance. Was this indeed Arjun, the one great idol of my dreams? Yes, I had long ago heard how he had vowed a 12-year celibacy. Many a day my young ambition had spurred me on to break my lance with him, to challenge him in disguise to a single combat, and prove my skill in arms against him. Ah, foolish heart, whither fled thy presumption? Could I but exchange my youth with all its aspirations for a clod of earth under his feet, I should deem it a most precious grace. I know not in what whirlpool of thought I was lost when suddenly I saw him vanish through the trees. O foolish woman, neither didst thou greet him, nor speak a word, nor beg forgiveness, but stoodst like a barbarian boor while he contemptuously walked away. Next morning, I laid aside my man's clothing. I donned bracelets, anklets, waist chain, and a gown of purple-red silk. The unaccustomed dress clung about my shrinking shape, but I hastened on my quest and found Arjun before his temple of Shiva.
Tell me the story to the end. I am the heart-born god, and I understand the mystery of these impulses.
Do not ask me to tell you all. Shame fell on me like a thunderbolt, yet could not break me to pieces, so utterly hard, so like a man am I. His last words as I walked home pricked my ears like red-hot needles. I have taken the vow of celibacy. I am not fit to be thy husband. Oh, the vow of a man. Surely thou knowest, thou goddess of love, unnumbered saints and sages have surrendered the merits of their lifelong penance at the feet of a woman. Madana Vasanta, teach me thy lessons. Give me the power of the weak and the weapon of the unarmed hand.
We will be thy friend. We will bring the world-conquering Arjun a captive before thee, to accept his rebellion sentence at thy hand.
Had I but the time needed, I could win his heart by slow degrees and ask no help of the gods. I would stand by his side as a comrade, drive the fierce horses of his war chariot, attend him in the pleasures of the chase, keep guard at night at the entrance of his tent, and help him in all the great duties of a kshatriya, rescuing the weak and meting out justice where it is due. Surely at last the time would have come for him to look at me and wonder, What boy is this? Has one of my slaves in a former lifetime followed me like my good deeds into this? I am not the woman who nourishes her despair in lonely silence, feeding it with nightly tears and covering it with a daily patient smile. The flower of my desire shall never drop to dust before it has ripened to fruit. Yet, it is the labor of a lifetime to make one's true self known and honored. Therefore, I have come to thy door, thou world-vanquishing goddess of love, and thou, Vasanta, youthful lady of the seasons. Take from my young body this primal injustice and unattractive plainness. For one day, make me superbly beautiful, even as beautiful as was the sudden blooming of love in my heart. Give me but one brief day of perfect beauty, and I will answer for the days that follow.
Lady, I grant thy prayer.
Not for the short span of a day, but for one whole year the charm of spring blossom shall nestle around thy limbs.
Was I dreaming, or was what I saw by the lake truly there? Sitting on the mossy turf, I mused over bygone years in the sloping shadows of the evening, when slowly there came from the folding darkness of foliage an apparition of beauty in the perfect form of a woman. It came to stand at the white slab of stone at the water's brink. She bared her bosom, looked at her arms so flawlessly modeled and instinct with an exquisite caress. Bending her head, she saw the blossoming of her youth and the tender bloom and blush of her skin. She beamed with a glad surprise. So if the white lotus bud on opening her eyes in the morning were to arc her neck and see her shadow in the water, would she wonder at herself the livelong day? But a moment after, the smile from her face passed, and a shadow of sadness crept into her eyes. She bound up her tresses, drew her veil over her arms, and sighing slowly walked away like a beauteous evening fading into the night. To me, the supreme fulfillment of desire had been revealed in a flash, and then to have vanished. It is she! Oh, quiet my heart. Fear me not, lady, I am a Kshatriya.
Honored sir, you are my guest. I live in this temple. I know not in what way I can show you hospitality.
Fair lady, the very sight of you is indeed the highest hospitality. If you would not take it amiss, I would ask you a question.
You have permission?
What stern vow keeps you immured in this solitary temple, depriving all mortals of a vision of so much loveliness?
I harbor a secret desire in my heart, for the fulfillment of which I offer daily prayers to Lord Shiva.
Alas, what can you desire? You who are the desire of the whole world. I have seen whatever is most great, precious, and beautiful on this earth. Tell me for what or for whom you seek.
He whom I seek is known to all.
Indeed. Who may this favorite of the gods be, whose fame has captured your heart?
Sprung from the highest of all royal houses, the greatest of all heroes is he.
Lady, offer not such wealth of beauty as is yours on the altar of false reputation. Tell me who in the highest of kingly lines is the supreme hero.
Swami, you are jealous of other men's fame. Do you not know that all over the world the royal house of the Kurus is the most famous?
House of the Kurus.
And have you never heard of the greatest name of that far-famed house?
From your own lips, let me hear it.
Arjun, the conqueror of the world. Why do you look perturbed? Has the name only a deceitful glitter? Say so, and I will not hesitate to break this casket of my heart and throw the false gem to dust.
Be his name or fame, bravery or prowess, false or true, for mercy's sake, do not banish this man from your heart, for he kneels at your feet even now.
You, Arjun?
Yes, I am he, the love-hungered guest at your door.
Then it is not true that Arjun has taken a vow of chastity for 12 long years.
Yes, but you have dissolved my vow, even as the moon dissolves the night's vow of obscurity.
Oh, shame upon you. What have you seen in me that makes you false to yourself? Not my true self, I know. Surely this cannot be love. This is not man's highest homage to the woman. Alas, that this frail disguise, the body, should make one blind to the light of the deathless spirit. Yes, now, indeed, I know, Arjun. The fame of your heroic manhood is false.
You alone are perfect, the wealth of the world, the end of all poverty, the goal of all efforts, the one woman.
Alas, it is not I. Not I, Arjun, it is the deceit of a god. Woo not falsehood. Offer not your great heart to an illusion. No, impossible! To face the fervent gaze that almost grips you like clutching hands of the hungry spirit within? To feel his heart struggling to break its bounds and to turn him away like a beggar? Impossible. What is this fearful flame with which thou hast enveloped me? I burn and I burn whatever I touch.
I desire to know what happened last night.
At evening, I lay down on a bed strewn with the petals of spring flowers and recollected the wonderful praise of my beauty I had heard from Arjun. The history of my past life, like that of my former existences, was forgotten. I felt like a flower, which has but a few fleeting hours to listen to all the humming flatteries and whispered murmurs of the woodlands, and then must lower its eyes, bend its head, and give itself up to dust without a cry, thus ending the short story of a perfect moment, which has neither past nor future.
A limitless life of glory can bloom and spend itself in a morning.
Like an endless meaning in the narrow span of a song.
From the flowering malati bower overhead, silent kisses dropped over my body. On my hair, my hips, my feet. Each flower chose a bed to die on. I slept. And suddenly, in the depths of my sleep, I felt as if some intense, eager look like tapering fingers of flame touched my slumbering body. I started up and saw the hermit standing before me. The moon had moved to the west, peering through the leaves to espy this wonder of divine art wrought in a fragile human frame. The air was heavy with perfume, the night vocal with the chirping of crickets. The trees hung motionless in the lake. And there, with his staff in hand, he stood straight and still like a forest tree. It felt to me as if I had, upon opening my eyes, died to all realities of life and undergone a dream birth into a shadowland. Shame slipped to my feet like loosened clothes. I said, take me, take all that I am. Yes! And I stretched out my arm to him.
कितनी हंसी
covered all. Time and space, death and life, pleasure and pain, all merged together in an unbearable ecstasy. At the first gleam of light, the first twitter of birds, I rose and sat leaning on my left arm. He lay asleep, with a vague smile against his lips like the crescent moon in the morning. The rosy red glow of dawn fell upon his noble forehead. I sighed and stood up. I drew together the leafy lianas to screen the streaming sun from his face. I looked about me and saw the same old earth. I remembered who I was. And ran, like a deer afraid of her own shadow, past the forest path strewn with chapali flowers, found a lonely nook, and sitting down, tried to weep and cry. But no tears came to my eyes.
Alas, thou daughter of mortals, I stole from the divine storehouse the fragrant wine of heaven, filled with it one earthly night to the brim, and placed it in thy hand to drink. Yet still I hear this cry of anguish.
Who drank it? The rarest completion of life's desire, the first union of love was proffered to me, but was wrested from my grasp. This falsehood that enwraps me, this borrowed beauty, companions me as a demon, robbing me of all the prizes of love, all the kisses for which my heart is still athirst.
Alas, how vain thy single night had been! The bark of joy came in sight, but the waves would not let it touch the shore.
Heaven came so close to my hand, I forgot for a moment it had not reached me. But when I woke in the morning, I found that my body had become my own rival. It is my hateful task to deck her every morning, to send her to my beloved and see her caressed by him. Gods, take back thy boon.
But if I take it from you, how can you stand before your lover? To snatch away the cup from his lips when he has barely drained his first draught of pleasure. Would that not be cruel? With what resentful anger he must regard thee then.
That would be far better than this. I will reveal my true self to him, a far nobler thing than this disguise. If he rejects it, if he spurns me and breaks my heart, I will bear even that in silence.
Listen to my advice. When with the advent of autumn, the flowering season is over, then comes the triumph of fruitage. A time will come of itself when the heat-coyed boom of the body will droop, and all of a sudden, Arjun will gladly accept the abiding fruitful truth in thee.
Why do you watch me like that, my warrior?
I watch how you weave that garland, skill and grace, the twin brother and sister dancing playfully on your fingertips. I am watching and thinking.
What are you thinking, sir?
I'm thinking that you, with this same lightness of touch and sweetness, are weaving my days of exile into an immortal wreath to crown me when I return home.
Home? But this is not love for a home.
For a home.
No, never talk of that. Take to your home what is abiding and strong. Do not take it to your palace hall to fling it on the stony floor, which knows no pity for things that fade and are forgotten.
Is ours that kind of love?
Yes, no other. Why regret it? That which was meant for idle days shall never outlive them. Take it and keep it as long as it lasts. Take me in your arms, my beloved. Let all vain bickerings of discontent die away at the sweet meeting on their lips.
Hush, listen as the sound of prayer bells from the distant village temple steals upon the evening air.
I cannot keep pace with thee, my friend. I am tired. It's a hard task to keep alive the fire thou hast kindled. The
this could go on no longer.
I know thou art fickle as a child. Things that thou buildest up for days in endless detail, thou dost shatter in a moment without regret. But this work of ours is nearly finished. The year, almost at its end, swoons in rapturous bliss.
Had distilled a gem. I have no casket to enclose it, no king's crown whereon to fix it, no chain from which to hang it, and yet have not the heart to throw it away. My Kshatriya's right arm, idly occupied in holding it, forgets its duty.
Tell me your thoughts, sir.
My mind is busy with thoughts of hunting today. See how the rain pours in torrents and fiercely beats upon the hillside. The dark shadow of the clouds hangs heavily over the forest, and the swollen stream, like reckless youth, overleaps all barriers with mocking laughter. The restless spirit is on me. I long to go hunting.
See how the wind is chased by the mad rain that discharges 1,000 arrows after it. Yet it goes free and unconquered. Our sport is like that, my love. You give chase to this fleet-footed spirit of beauty, aiming at her every dart you have in your hands. Yet this magic deer runs ever free and untouched.
Have you not a home where kind hearts are waiting for your return? A home which you once made sweet with your gentle service, and whose light went out when you left it for this wilderness.
Why these questions? Are the hours of unthinking pleasure over? Do you not know that I am no more than what you see before you? For me, there is no vista beyond. The dew that hangs on the tip of a Kansuka petal has neither name nor destination. It offers no answer to any question. She whom you love is like that perfect bead of dew.
Yet, do you not have a tie with the world? Can you merely be like a fragment of heaven dropped on the earth by the carelessness of a wanton god?
Yes.
That is why I always seem about to lose you. My heart is unsatisfied, my mind knows no peace. Come closer to me, unattainable one. Surrender yourself to the bonds of name and home and parentage. Let my heart feel you on all sides and live with you in the peaceful security of love.
Why this vain effort to catch and keep the tints of clouds, the dance of waves, the smell of flowers?
Mistress mine, do not hope to pacify love with airy nothings. Give me something to clasp, something that can last longer than pleasure, that can endure even through suffering.
Hero mine, the year is not yet over, and you are tired already. Now I know that it is heaven's blessing that has made this flower term of life short. This body of mine have drooped and died with the flowers of last spring. Surely it would have died with honor. Yet its days are numbered, my love. Spare it not, press it dry of honey, for fear your beggar's heart come back to it again and again with unsatiated desire. Like a thirsty bee when summer's blossoms lie dead in the dust.
Tonight is thy last night.
The loveliness of your body will return tomorrow with the inexhaustible stores of spring. The ruddy tint of thy lips, freed from the memory of Arjun's kisses, will bud anew as a pair of fresh asoka leaves, and the soft, white glow of thy skin will be born again in 100 fragrant jasmine flowers.
Gods, grant me this, my prayer. Tonight, in its final hour, let my beauty flash its brightest. like the final flicker of a dying flame.
Thou shalt have thy wish.
Who will protect us now?
Why? By what danger are you threatened?
The robbers are pouring in from the northern hills like a mountain flood to destroy our village.
Has this kingdom no warden?
Princess Chitra was the terror of all evildoers. While she was in this happy land, we feared natural deaths but had no other fears. Now she has gone on the pilgrimage and none knows where to find her.
Is the warden of this country a woman?
Yes, he is our father and mother in one.
What are you doing all alone?
I am wondering what kind of woman Princess Chitra may be. I hear so many stories of her from all sorts of men.
But she is not beautiful. She has no such lovely eyes as mine, dark as death. She can pierce any target she will, but not our hero's heart.
I hear she is a man in valor and a woman in tenderness.
That indeed is her greatest misfortune. When a woman is merely a woman, when she winds herself round and round men's hearts with her smiles and sobs and services, caressing endearments, then she is happy. Of what used to her are learning and great achievements. Could you have seen her only yesterday in the quarter Shiva by the forest path, you would have passed her by without deigning to look at her. But have you grown so weary of women's beauty that you seek in her for a man's strength? I have made our noonday bed in a cavern dark as night. There the soft green mosses thick on the black and dripping stone kisses your eyes to sleep. Let me guide you thither.
Not today, beloved.
Why not today?
A horde of robbers has neared the plains, needs must I go and protect the frightened villagers.
You need have no fear for them. Before she set off on her pilgrimage, Princess Chitra had set strong guards at each of the frontier passes.
Yet permit me for a short while to set about a Kshatriya's work. I will ennoble this right arm and make of it a pillow more worthy for your head.
What if I refuse to let you go? If I keep you entwined in my arms, would you rudely snatch yourself free and leave me? Go then. But you must know that the liana, once broken in two, never joins again. Go if your thirst is quenched. But if not, then remember that the goddess of pleasure is fickle and waits for no man. Sit for a while, my lord. Tell me what uneasy thoughts tease you. Who has occupied your mind today? Is it Chitra?
Yes, it is Chitra. I wonder, in fulfillment of what vow has she gone on her pilgrimage? For what can she stand in need?
Her needs? Why? What has she ever had? The unfortunate creature, her very qualities are as prison bars, shutting her woman's heart in a bare cell. Do not ask me of her life. It shall never sound sweet to the man's ear.
I want to hear all about her. Tell me her story.
What more is there to tell?
I seem to see her in my mind's eye on a white horse, proudly holding the reins in her left hand and in her right a bow, and like the goddess of victory dispensing glad hope all round her. Like a watchful lioness, she protects the litter at her dugs with a fierce love. Woman's arms, though adorned with naught but unfettered strength, are beautiful. My heart is restless. Come, let us both ride on swift horses side by side like twin orbs of light sweeping through space. Out of this slumberous prison of green gloom, this dank, dense cover of perfumed intoxication, choking breath.
Arjun, tell me true. If now, at once by some magic, I could shake myself free of this voluptuous softness, this timid bloom of beauty shrinking from the rude and healthy touch of the world, and fling it from my body like borrowed clothes, would you be able to bear it? No, if I stand up straight and strong with the strength of a daring heart, spurning the arts and wiles, twining weaknesses, no longer trailing in the dust like a liana, shall I then appeal to the man's eye? No, no, you cannot endure it. It is better that I should keep spread about me all the dainty playthings of fugitive youth, and wait for you with patience. When it pleases you to return, I will smilingly pour out the wine of pleasure in the cup of this beauteous body. When you are tired and satiated with this wine, you can go to work or play. When I grow old, I will humbly and gratefully accept whatever corner is left for me.
You seem to me like a goddess, hidden within a golden image. I cannot touch you, I cannot pay you my dues in return for your priceless gifts. Thus my love is incomplete. Illusion is the first appearance of truth. She advances towards her lover in disguise, but a time comes when she throws off her ornaments and veils and stands clothed in naked dignity. I yearn for that ultimate you, that bare simplicity of truth. Have I pained you? Forget what I said. I will be content with the present. I let each separate moment of beauty appear to me like a bird of mystery from its unseen nest in the dark, bearing a message of music. Let me forever sit with my hope on the brink of realization and thus end my days.
Beloved, Arjun, my lord, has the cup been drained to the last drop? Is this indeed the end? No, when all else is done, something still remains, and that is my last sacrifice at your feet. I brought from the garden of heaven flowers of incomparable beauty with which to worship you. If the rites are over, with which to worship you, God of my heart. If the rites are over, if the flowers have faded, let me fling them out of the temple. Now look at your worshiper with gracious eyes. I am not beautifully perfect as the flowers with which I worshipped. I have many flaws and blemishes. I am a traveler on the great world path. My garments are dirty, and my feet are bleeding with thorns. Where should I achieve flower beauty, the unsullied loveliness of a moment's life? The gift I proudly bring you is the heart of a woman. Here have all the joys and pains gathered, the hopes, fears, and shames of a daughter of the dust. If the flower service is finished, my master, accept this as your servant for the days to come. I am Chitra, the king's daughter. Perhaps you will remember a day when a woman came to you in the court of Shiva, her body loaded with ornaments and finery. That shameless woman came to court you as though she were a man. You rejected it. You did well. My lord, I am that woman. She was my disguise. Then, by a boon of the gods, I obtained for 1 year the most beautiful, the most radiant form a mortal ever wore, and wearied my hero's heart in the process. Most surely, I am not that woman. I am Chitra, no goddess to be worshipped, nor yet an object of common pity to be brushed aside like a moth with indifference. If you allow me to share the great duties of your life, the path of danger and daring, then you will know my true self. If your babe, whom I am nourishing in my womb, be born a son, I shall teach him to be a second Arjun and send him to you when the time comes, and then at last you will truly know me. Today, I can only offer you Chitra, the daughter of a king.
Beloved, my life is full.